You have to sometimes think of the dystopian scenarios. What's the worst thing that can happen, right? If you think about something like open claw, the ability to grasp, right? You know what? Okay, when is it appropriate to use force in a situation? Say somebody enters into the factory or what have you, right? When is it appropriate to use, say, deadly force or not use deadly force, right? And I'm not saying that's happening tomorrow, but if we don't start thinking about those things now, there's huge repercussions down the road, right? And then now go from that hyperbole to something simple, right? Even just what's the gray area on the simple matters, to shut down the production line or to make some adjustments or what have you, right? Those are things we have to kind of find the simpler cases before we get to something crazy like that, right?
I see this more like the same way like in self-driving, right? Like it's called the long tail problems. A lot of like there's a lot of startups that don't exist anymore in the self-driving world just because they were able to solve the first part, like the not in the graph like a long tail problem. So they were able to solve the first part, the first 90% or 99%, but it's always harder to solve the next nine, right? So I would say like something similar is going to happen in this world with agents and OpenClaw, where yeah, you have like simple cases where it's really fun to try them out. So you're eventually gonna get to something that's somewhat controllable in like the first part of the graph, but then when you get from the second nine to the third nine, like it takes as much time to get to the second nine of safety to the third nine and so on. So it's almost the same problem that I see it the same. Is it's going to take lots of work. Right now it's fun, and then really like a lot of people jumped into it, but to get it actually to a place where it's safe is going to take way more work and probably a lot more years to get to that point.
There's a principle in business called, or technology called dominant design, right? So if you build something, once you go down a path, right, and you go a certain length, and if you haven't factored in some of that long tail stuff, right,
Okay.
you could potentially at the end of the day have to scrap everything you've built and start over again because you never factor that in, because you can't, once you get down to a certain point, you cannot adjust and adapt to that, right?